Okay. Hello. Hello, everybody. It's now 6:11, and I'd like to call the meeting to order. So, with that, Nicole, can you do roll call?
Mr. Blair?
Here.
Mrs. Grosh?
Here.
Mrs. Gutierrez?
Here.
Mr. Hald?
Present.
Mrs. Morales?
Here.
The next item is Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The next item is the consideration of additional agenda items.
I had just mentioned to Margaret that a lot of folks here are to talk about the golf league contracts, and I wanted to maybe have that discussion earlier in the agenda instead of later, but that's up for this board to decide.
So I'm going to ask this board, one, should we be talking about the golf league contracts as an additional agenda item tonight? So, or does that require a special study session that we address it separately? Because the golf contracts do not require board action, but we would want to be informed. And a study session is where we're informed.
And Margaret, I would disagree. I think this fits into the policy and not just operation, policy of the board and also operation for the district.
Go ahead.
My thought is, I don't know that anybody came prepared for the contract, and I think that's going to take some time to go over. I prefer to have more information on that than trying to fit this in at a board meeting. I would like to really have the opportunity to go over those contracts in depth.
Were you talking about us discussing it, but we were going to take time to hear what the people who came here to say?
I would absolutely entertain public comment tonight so that then we could take the comments that they've made and those can be incorporated and addressed during the study session that we would have in 2 weeks from now.
A concern I have is that there's been a contract saying we need feedback from the leagues by April 3rd, and they need to sign the contract by tomorrow. So when are we going to have this study session to be able to figure it out?
So
May I?
yes,
Should we just, like at this point, let staff go through the process of
Absolutely.
handling the contract with the golf leagues? And if the staff needs to adjust the timing and so on, staff will do that as appropriate to maintain good relationships. So again, a contract with the various golf leagues, let's let staff go through their process and see if they can work through the issues and so on in a timely manner.
Yes, this is an agreement, this is a management agreement, this is not a board agreement, and so that's what we've been working towards, Mike.
and my perspective would be that we have charged the district staff to maintain the operations of the golf course, and the golf contracts are part of the golf course and part of their operations, so that's a responsibility of district staff. Have them work with us, and then they can report back to us during the study session of what actions they've taken.
I would request that we honor the golf leagues by following their bylaws. So if we're asking them to sign contracts by tomorrow and they don't have a board meeting because they have bylaws, they have to follow their own bylaws. And if we're not giving them that grace, then we're not treating them the way we respectfully should.
No, I think that's where we said, staff will adjust the timing to meet everyone's needs and so on.
I'm not hearing that from
I do not believe, the deadline that we asked for was for feedback on the agreement by the 3rd. We were trying to get the agreements done before all of the leagues started, and we actually have afternoon leagues as well that aren't represented here. As long as we have the agreement in place before league play starts, that would be wonderful. We've already missed that deadline with the men's club, so we are not unreasonable people, and we're going to work through what we can. Again, our goal was, we had meetings with the clubs. We asked for feedback by the 3rd. We got feedback from a few clubs, not all of the clubs. So we will just continue to work through it, as Mike just suggested, so that we can get this thing to the finish line. But we're not going to, I mean, if we don't have the agreements tomorrow, what happens? There's not a hard deadline. That hasn't been, as far as I know, we haven't provided anybody a hard deadline on when we had to have the contracts back. We wanted them back so that we could move the initiative forward. But our first step was to ask for feedback from all the clubs, and that feedback was, we requested that feedback be due to us on the 3rd.
Well, perhaps someone can let me know why we're supposed to have these signed by tomorrow then. If we're not taking into account the bylaws of the men's club, the seniors club, the ladies 18, the ladies 9, and the South Par 3, they all have separate bylaws, of which they have to follow. So if they say, we can't decide this at our meeting until April 23rd, or the men's club would not have their bylaws meeting until October. So there's a whole variety of processes that really need some time, and I'm going to recommend that the district meet with the leagues, the presidents of the leagues, over a course of 3 months and go through the contract line by line and question by question, because the ability to decide this will get much better support if people understand what's going on, not just be told, send us your feedback by the 3rd and sign it by the whatever today is, the 14th, or whatever Friday is. There's a whole process that we can use so that people feel valued and appreciated. And I don't think we're doing that. And I would recommend that that's what we would do. The board can think I'm getting into operations, but I think I'm getting into policy, and I think I'm getting into effective decision-making in allowing the leagues the time to meet with you guys over the course of 3 or 4 months and go through every little thing that they all have questions about, rather than saying, sign it now before the league starts.
Warren, can you share with us who you got that information from?
I've read the contract.
And did it say that it was to be signed on the 14th? Because I don't believe it did.
Yes, it did.
So my perspective is the contracts and the nuances of the contracts belong with operations staff. And I'm going to rely on the expertise and judgment of operations staff, who've also consulted our legal in the construction of these contracts. And the board was presented with the same information that was presented to all the leagues a couple board meetings ago. We all were in support of moving forward with what we were provided, and we agreed, and they're moving forward. So I would, either we can have a vote, or all agree that we'll meet at the study session to discuss, so that you guys can inform the board of the actions that have been taken. What we did as a board, we have a fiduciary responsibility to ensure that the district remains fiscally sound and stable financial position. And we approved a budget, and that budget charged the district with ensuring that the Golf Enterprise Fund revenues were sufficient to cover expenditures. And the staff is implementing that budget, and they're taking the action, and we're going to monitor performance to plan. And so the boards supported the actions that were going to be taken by district staff at prior board meetings, and we can be informed of it, but I'm not aware that there's any board decisions that need to be made.
I disagree. At the last board meeting, we talked about there might be a contract out with the leagues. And we, as a board, said we'd like to be updated on that contract process. We have not received that update yet. So I don't feel that board can abdicate our responsibility to monitor policy. If this is policy, you may think that this is not policy, that it's operation. I think it goes in between both of those, operation and policy, but until we get an update on what the contract is and until we hear from our people, we don't know if this is a policy discussion or an operational discussion, and we have not approved or said anything or swamied, whatever it might take, but we need to hear from our people. Because if we're going to do this right, and if we're going to get our buy-in, if we're going to have people respect us, and once again, build our reputation, where we need to maybe build it back with our leagues, we need to take this process, slow it down, and have meetings and discussions, and including the board in study sessions, and including the leagues themselves.
Well, we're not abdicating our responsibility. We're having a study session in 2 weeks to discuss when more information is available. So I don't agree with that. And I think maybe we should take a board vote of, do we discuss this in open discussion later in the agenda? Or, well, we have consideration of additional agenda items, and then that's followed by public comment. So the public comment will be forthcoming. And so this is an abnormally long consideration of additional agenda items. So what I'm going to ask for is, I'd ask for a motion to consider the additional agenda item to discuss the golf league contracts tonight. And then we take a vote on it, yes or no, and then depending on that, then we'll move forward.
I don't think that's what I was asking. I was asking for an update on the contracts.
May I make a suggestion that we just table this for now? Let's listen to the public comment.
Yep, absolutely.
And then towards the end of the agenda, if we need to add something, we can add something at that time, but. let's-
Perfect, I like that suggestion.
Okay.
Does that sound good? Okay, excellent. Okay, so, the next session is public comment and, section, and I have.
Excuse me, madam. I think we need to add the other motion about adding the study session. Is that what you're?
Yeah, yes.
You're going
we
to add
need
that to the agenda, whether you
Yeah,
pass it or not
yeah,
is
we're going to
pending.
add the study session to the agenda. And before we start the public comment session, I would want to read the public conduct at board meetings. Comments made by members of the public shall be made only during public comment portion of the meeting and shall be limited to 3 minutes per individual and 5 minutes per group spokesperson unless additional opportunity is given at the board's discretion. Each member of the public wishing to speak will need to have signed in and marked the box indicating they wish to address the board. Also, when you come up to say public comment, I would appreciate it, you need to state your name and your address. So that would be helpful. With that, I'm moving to the first person. And the first person is Leo Pack, and he is here to discuss golf and disc golf. Yes, please. And then if you will provide your address.
So my name's Leo Peck. My address is 9493 Salisbury Court, Westminster, Colorado, 80021. And so I think I'm going to focus on the disc golf because I think there's plenty of golf folks here represented. First question is the disc golf course known as Upper Badlands under your jurisdiction since it's on Hyland Hills property at 90th and Cavendish?
I believe it is, but I want the experts to answer.
If it is in Cavendish Park, that is all our land, so yes.
Great. Is there a reason for why it is the Upper Badlands course is being shut down?
So in our master plan, we had in the community, that's been 2 years in the works, there was a request for trails and other amenities. So what, those trails have to work and integrate with the disc golf courses. So the architects are working on a design that integrates the other amenities, so playgrounds, trails, an amphitheater, with the disc golf course. So the disc golf course will have changes, but that's to accommodate safety reasons for the trails and other amenities.
All right.
And I'd like to say the public comment is for you to say whether you want that to be open or
Okay,
not.
sure, but
It's
I do
not-
wanna know if it's
If we do
it's on your
answering questions back and forth, we could be here for
Yeah,
till
yeah,
10.
but if
so,
it wasn't on your jurisdiction, I would
not be
skip it.
there. Got it.
Got
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
So my comment is, sadly, with the changes that have gone on here, we lost 2 baskets worth, which made it from 18 to 12 hole course, and now the last time I saw it, there's only 8. And I've spent a lot of time over there, and it's honestly, it's a loss to the community to have it diminished to this level. The amount of impact that it has to the trails, to the other park users, is quite limited. I understand that there's some potential emergency access for where holes 6 and 7 baskets would go, but I would request that you consider the value that the Upper Badlands Disc Course provides to the community, and right now, I think it's a significant loss to the community to not have more of the course available for use. And honestly, from my observations, disc golfers probably represent more than 50% of the park users overall, but I'm sure it's less now. Basically, the public comment on UDisc is that it's no longer really a course, and it's not worth going there anymore. And we did do some side benefits of, in the last, if you have been over there, the last 3 to 6 years, disc golfers have cleaned up that park immensely. Thank you.
Thank you, Leo. Yeah. Okay. The next individual I'd like to call up is Patrick Quinn, and the topics to discuss are the Golf Course League contracts. If you could please state your name and address.
Okay, yeah. I have these comments that go to 2 minutes, 58 seconds, but I now have to change them. So I'm going to be more extemporaneous. So my name is Pat Quinn. I'm at 14051 Cortez Court in Broomfield, Colorado. And did everybody on the board get a copy of my email that I sent? Because I didn't get an acknowledgement on the email, from anybody, so I brought copies if you guys didn't get it. So I sent an email out, so let me jump into my comments, because, and I apologize for engaging, in the discussion before, it was inappropriate. But this, in my opinion, and I was mayor of Broomfield for 8 years, in my opinion, this is a policy decision. This is not just simply a contract that's trying to codify or put in writing the things that have been happening before. It's a dramatic change in policy for the golf course that's got a lot of people upset. It's going to change the senior league dramatically, how we do stuff. This is not management stuff based on my experience. Certainly, being a mayor, it just wouldn't have happened that way. So it is a policy decision, and for the seniors, I think it may be different than the men's league on a Saturday, but we are a social club. It was started 30 years ago. We have over 100 members. The average age is 73. A lot of members have lost their spouses over the years, and this is a social club. You get rid of the shotgun start, it will change the entire nature of that, and so this is a big deal to us. It's a big deal to me personally. I want to get that on the record. My comments, what's being proposed right now, we buy merchandise, we give gifts at the clubhouse, we have banquets there, unsolicited before. Now they're saying that's not enough. They're going to, make it 70% more expensive per member to be a member of the club. That is not management decisions. That is you guys' decisions, and I think most attorneys would agree. So with that said, I want to go to that. I recommend you do what I've seen over the years of 40 years of public policy. Do a citizen engagement. Don't tell people on March 19th that have already set their dues that we're going to raise your costs by 70-some%. Do a community engagement. Maybe bring in a facilitator. You have a lot of stakeholders. I started playing golf at Hyland Hills in 1964. I love that course tremendously. I love the way the course is run. But bring the public in. Don't dictate. And I know staff doesn't like citizen engagement. I saw it a lot over the 40 years. But if you do it right, you bring the public in, bring the league's people in, pull the goddamn contract back for now and bring them in. You're going to get better policy decisions and you're going to get buy-in from everybody as opposed to having guys like me that are getting upset. So thank you.
Thank you. The next person on the list is Cindy George, and she would like to discuss the league.
So I'm Cindy George. I'm 10189 Adams Street, 80229. I'm going to read.
In
just
Thornton,
because-
Colorado.
Oh, Thornton, Colorado. I'm going to read just to make sure I stick within my time. As president, I'm here to speak on behalf of the Highland Hills 9 Ladies League. We are a huge league of 107 members with 100 to 120 players each week. We've been loyal to Highland since 1973, 53 years. Our league is highly disturbed with the additional 2027 event requirements being proposed to our leagues. We are not an event, we are a league. Our league not only brings in guaranteed golf revenue for 5 months, but also supports Cottonwood on league and non-league days, donates to the foundation, and volunteers their time for the foundation golf tournament. You will see our members playing at non-league time as well. We need Highland Hills to now support our league like we support them. The contract that was placed before us seems to be an outside event contract, doctored up poorly and does not apply to leagues. Collection of fees is being dumped on our league. We already have been penalized with public rack rate for our loyal non-residents when punch cards went away. We've already given up our shotgun starts to allow public to go out before us so there can be additional revenue. We do support your new cancellation and no-show policy fees to maintain lost revenue. What we do not support is Highland trying to hold additional event fees hostage to be used only in pro shop and banquets. The pro shop is not properly stocked for ladies, and ordering is a nightmare for us. We have banquets at Cottonwood, but in no way do we need that much money held aside. We are mostly retired women who do not have that kind of disposable income. We are being told that other courses are more expensive, which I've found is not necessarily true. I want to share my experience with the Thorn Creek Ladies League. They love their Ladies League. They even give discounted greens fees to the league players, which are less expensive now than Hyland is. They sponsored a kickoff with a free taco bar, tons of raffle prizes, including golf bags and clubs. They thought freeing up Mondays to get outside events was a good idea, but that didn't happen. Instead, they lost guaranteed lead money and moved the leagues back into place. It feels like Hyland is trying to drive out the leagues, thinking they will get outside events. Hyland needs to pay attention to the fail at Thorn Creek when they tried that. If revenue is an issue, just please raise your prices each year. I ask the board to put a stop to this event fee madness. Thank you.
The next person on the list is Debbie Ferguson. Okay. The next person on the list is Gregory Graves.
Gregory Graves, 4287 West 107th Place in Westminster. That's the Legacy Ridge. I say that because I drive straight out of a golf course community to Highland Hills because that's where our group meets. 105 members over 30 years. We've published our rules, as was already stated, on the website, where it's very clear on how we have to make decisions as an organization. As a Highland Hills Senior Golf Club, we always considered ourselves to be part of the Highland Hills community and the Highland Hills organization. It's interesting that when we decided to make changes, we expected this board to ask for public comment. And that didn't happen. There was no notification for public comment. So whatever decisions were made apart from that public comment, other than what we came here and talked about before. So I just want to remind ourselves of the rules so that there's good understanding about how this happens. When there's a policy change, that means there's a substantive change in the way things are happening. Ours is a 70% increase in what we previously awarded as prizes and was paid out and is given back to the course in restaurants, in our restaurant participation, our 3 luncheons, and what amounts to nearly $120,000 a year. So I just say that any policy change needs to be reviewed by the board, and that study and those decisions need to be understood and taken into consideration, that our rules have been published on the website ever since the website has been instituted. The other thing I would like to determine is that we are a league, not an event. Any reference to event when we're referring to a league is improper. And I just wanted that to be understood, and that be a portion of the contracts that are produced anytime in the future, that we don't confuse those two issues, because they are treated very differently, and the structures and the fees are very different. So thank you. I appreciate your participation, your future participation in this decision, and I thank you for your time on the board. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person on the list is Pam Moores, and it's a golf contract.
Good evening. Pam Moores, I'm president of the Women's 18-Hole League, 4832 West 99th Avenue, Westminster, just off the blue course. I was a little shocked about the liquor license issue, and the thing that really bothered me about that as it pertains to golf is we were sold a bill of goods that when the restaurant went back to the district, we only have to have 1 liquor license. Maybe if they weren't messing around with this contract, they would have paid attention to expired dates. We met with Val, Yvonne, and Alan in February to discuss what happened with the player passes. Things seem to be pretty cool. We requested we meet again throughout the year in order to talk about any of the other things that they had questions about. Next thing I know, they gave us 1 week's notice to meet the 13th of March. We go into this meeting, and the next thing that happens is I'm given a contract in front of me. Had no idea this was coming. Talk about blindsided. And then you look through it, and there's all these things, and we didn't even get a chance to read the whole thing. And then we get an email saying, we want your comments back by April 3rd, and it says right here, we'll get it fixed, and we'll get it back to you by email for signature April 15th. The comments that I've made about this contract are the circular logic that doesn't go anywhere, things that, I don't care that you're a quasi-governmental entity. That's a contract for somebody else coming in to use your facility. We're not that group. But here's my biggest issue. They want league coordinator to sign for the whole league. Now, I'm only signing for 38 other people. I can't do that. I'm not an LLC. So if somebody can tell me who's supposed to be signing the contract, and I'm sure they don't want 170 contracts from the men's league and 105, and our group is the easiest one to deal with, they think. So I just want to know why the district is at war with the leagues. Everything that's come across to us is it feels hostile. And we don't know why. We don't know why they think they need a contract. We don't know why they think they need to do these fees. They talk about solidify the relationship and equality. We don't even know what they're trying to make equal. They won't answer those questions. So one of the questions I have for the board is, you don't want to take this up, who do we go to if we can't get answers from the district? Thank you.
The next person on the list is James Zucker, and he is here to speak about laundry service.
If you want to let the golf people go first, I'll have to go at the end so they get their stuff in.
I would like
No.
to hear about laundry service right now.
Okay. Laundry service it is.
I'll stick to my script here so I stay in the 3 minutes. All right, good evening. My name is James Zucker, residing at 120 Edgeview Drive, apartment 6417, Broomfield, Colorado, and I'm a member at the Hyland Hills Fitness Center. I also speak to you tonight as the vice chair of a local political party, and I am currently managing the coordinated campaign for House District 33 and Senate District 25 candidates on this November's ballot. I'm here because the resident value platform this board ran on in 2025 has been replaced by a culture of bad faith governance. Our slate is making this district's mismanagement a centerpiece of our regional accountability platform. My issue may seem trivial compared to those mentioned this evening, but it holds the same pattern, and it is a bad one. This bag right here represents a decades-long tradition for our 84 legacy executive members who were here at the facility when it was TrueFit, long before it was Hyland Hills. You are now charging $5 convenience tax per bag per wash cycle. When members met with management, they were met with a nod and a smile and told their input would be considered. It wasn't. That wasn't a meeting, it was a hollow formality. We offer a fair, fiscally sound compromise, a $10 to $15 monthly flat fee to restore the original standard of fresh laundry and towels to return to our lockers. While this board manages a $90 million bond, our daily facility is being neglected. You have converted our spin room into a pay-to-play reformer Pilates studio, privatizing space we've already paid for. Meanwhile, the facility is gathering dust and cobwebs. The preacher curl pad has been cracked for a year, and the vents are caked in debris. We don't expect you to solve national cable contract disputes, but we do expect you to change the channel on TV stuck on dead air for 2 weeks. If you cannot ensure a clean vent for the executive and general membership, how can we trust you with $90 million? This may seem heavy-handed, but this situation needs to be handled. Rescind this laundry policy and address these systemic failures. If you do not, we will move beyond public comment and initiate a recall under CRS 32-1-906. Our party has dedicated specific PAC funds to this effort. Since our teams will be on doors daily leading up to November, gathering 300 signatures will take a single weekend. We are fully funded and mobilized to replace a board that prefers hollow consideration over results. Fix the gym, fix these members' issues, or we'll see you at the recall. Thank you.
I'm not seeing any other public comment at this time, and so I would like to proceed with the regular board meeting. Thank you all for your comment. Hold on. Can you tell me your name? You're right, Renee. Renee Skolkonovich. You're here to talk about the Golf League.
I'll be brief. Hi, I'm Renee Soltanovich. I live at 2634 East 137th Place. I'm in Thornton, Colorado. I have been very fortunate to be able to play at Hyland Hills. I was a new golfer, and I really wanted an experience to play golf. And thanks to Cindy George, I joined the league, and now I am the president of the South Par 3 Ladies League. Well, here I start my president's thing out, and I get this document that I need to sign, and I have no previous experience like the other ladies, and I feel very, very uncomfortable to sit down and sign a document that I don't have experience in, that I don't understand what's going on and all the changes. I just do know, speaking as a golfer for the South Par 3, these ladies come to have fun. They want to socialize. It's a great experience for them. They're on a tight budget, many of them, because it's the South Par 3. It's the more senior group of ladies, and they're already complaining they've lost their punch cards, the fees are going up, and now we're making all these changes. And I've tried to soften the blow a little bit, but it's really, really difficult in my position to sign something where we haven't had a focus group. I haven't had a chance to learn all the information well enough to even sign the document. So I'd really like it if we could take some time, slow down, so when I make a decision, I do it in the best interest of the ladies that I'm supposed to represent today. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see any other public comment in here. And is there anybody else who would like to make a public comment that I haven't called? Okay, with that, we're going to move on to our next agenda item. Thank you all for your comments. Our next item is introductions and presentations from Deputy Director Beck. We have Jenny Kramer and Kelly Flowers, Director of Marketing, Jenny Kramer, and Kelly Flowers, Community Relations. They can provide insights into what other things the district does.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to introduce Jenny and Kelly to you. They have prepared a presentation about operations in their areas, and again, this is part of our department head presentation to the board, so you get those regular updates. I will turn it over to Jenny and Kelly.
There it goes. All righty, I'm Jenny. This is Kelly. We're going to go over some highlights for marketing and communications. So talk real quickly about our team. I'm the Director of Marketing Communications. Kelly is our Community Relations Manager. Logan is our Creative Services Specialist. Tyler is our Sales Rep. And then we have 3 new interns, Sam, Laura, and Benjamin. So just a quick overview of our success from this year. Some highlights are event bookings and digital presence, fitness center marketing, Waterworld and Summit Canyon, and community events. So year over year, Cottonwood Lodge event bookings are up 96% if you look at just Q1 for 2025 versus 2026 Q1. Event revenue has increased 116% so far this year versus last year. Our year-over-year email platform, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure, yeah, I can talk about that a little bit. So we do send out a monthly district newsletter that goes out to about 18,000 or so folks. And we also implemented earlier this year some segmented lists as well. So now on our website, people can opt in for different topics, whether they're interested in youth activities in particular, or events, or the Highland Hills Foundation. There's quite a few lists to choose from. So we have increased our subscribers to our email platform by nearly 3,000 people from 2025 to 2024. And we see about a 45% open rate on those emails, which is much higher than the industry standard. And with those segmented lists, we hope to continue to see increased engagement and increased subscribers, with people really being able to opt into their specific interests.
Social media year over year. So these are all numbers versus our numbers in totality from last year. So for 2025 versus 2024, our impressions have gone up 44.8%, which is at 28.7 million impressions for last year. Our engagement is up over last year 18.9%, and our total audience has grown 18.7% last year versus 2024. So that's a total audience right now of 262,000 followers. And then our net new followers increased 38% last year. So that's an increase of 25,000 followers.
Can I ask a question about that,
Yeah.
going backwards? So when we say these year-over-year impressions, how does this convert into revenue?
It's going to depend on which channels, really. So our revenue-driving channels primarily are your Waterworld, your Adventure Golf. Those enterprise channels have ads associated with those.
Okay.
This is just a chart to kind of show how our impressions yield throughout the year. And you can see a correlation in the summertime. There's obviously more impressions because Waterworld, Agar, a lot of our community stuff is in full swing during that time. And then this is similar. So this is our audience growth. Something to point out here is TikTok is that pink line. So you can see a huge spike in our TikTok growth, April going through ebbs and flows in the summer. Year over year stats. So video views are up 33%. Facebook video growth is up a lot. This is due in part to paid ads. Our Instagram Reels are up 58.7%. And then our messages are also up because of paid ads. So our biggest growth drivers are TikTok. We grew that last year by 15,000 followers, and that's also our top engagement platform. And then Instagram grew by 7,300 followers. Here's a chart to kind of show the engagement. You'll see a big, You'll see a big spike in April into May, because that's a lot of people asking questions about what's going on at Waterworld.
Can you go back?
Yeah.
So these engagements are the different platforms, and then they spike because of the time of year.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
So more videos are going out for Waterworld, more people are commenting, more people have questions. We get a lot of customer service inquiries about ticketing, stuff like that.
Do we measure this engagements, say, by facility, like Adventure Golf, the fitness center?
Yeah, we can definitely break it out like that if you ever want to see a more detailed report by different facility. A big focus has been increasing marketing for the fitness center. So we started with putting new yard signs out, promoting our 7-day free trial, $24 a month memberships. We put up new feather flags so people can see it from the road. Lots of different digital signage across facilities, and exploring high visibility exterior signage. Hold on one second, I gotta have water. You want to? Sure.
Earlier this year, we also did a direct mail campaign. So that was a physical mailer that went out to 5,500 households within a 2-mile radius of the fitness center. And that was, again, at the beginning of the year, timed around kind of the biggest fitness center promotion we have when everyone's trying to get into the gym for their New Year's resolutions. So that was our New Year, New You promotion, where essentially you get 3 months free if you get an additional or an annual membership.
What was the response to that? Like,
It wasn't as successful as we thought it would be, so we're probably not going to continue that again. I don't know if people in this district got the mailer.
I got it.
But we asked the staff, and they didn't get like a huge reception, so it's probably not something we're going to try again. I would say our digital efforts have probably been our best in getting a response.
And more cost-effective, too. Print mail tends to be pretty expensive.
Yeah. Fitness center marketing, so this is our digital and print media highlights. We did a trade opportunity with Westminster, so we're in their activity guide, and they also have ads in ours, and we put it in our activities guide. And then we have had ongoing paid social campaigns on Meta and Nextdoor. So those highlights included 7-day free trials, the New Year, New You offer, membership pricing, Pilates open house, and then ongoing monthly promotions.
So these Pilates classes have been bringing in new members and are being well received by the community?
Yeah.
And driving increased membership?
Yeah, they had a specific open house, I think, in January.
Yeah, they had an open house in January, which was free for people to try Pilates, and that was full, so all the spots were taken. I personally can't speak as to whether it's driving new monthly and annual memberships. The Pilates kind of operates a little bit differently, so you can have a punch card for it. So even without a fitness pass, my understanding is you can do a drop-in fee to go to the Pilates classes. You can get, a 4-class punch card. They're cheaper if you have a fitness pass, but we'd probably have to run some numbers on whether people who are going to Pilates are also members. I assume they are, but we'd have to dig into that. But I know we have seen a lot of increases in our Pilates registrations in general, so it has been a growing class type.
So Waterworld, we have, as you guys know, a huge year coming up this year with Summit Canyon opening. So what are we doing to promote? We have doubled our Costco locations for this year. So last year we had 7. The year before that we had a trial, right? We had 3 stores. This year we're going to be in 14 Costco locations. Yeah.
I was in the Costco on 92nd looking for the Waterworld passes.
It's not there yet. I think it launches May 13th.
May 13th.
So we're going to be printing thousands of tickets and delivering them to all the different Costco locations, except for one, which I think is an Eagle. So, yes. And then we're also going to replicate our King Soopers Pepsi promotion again. So that will be in 120 stores across the state again. It did pretty well last year. And then email marketing. So we've grown our subscribers that we target regularly to about 250,000 recipients every time we send, based on what the promotion is. And then we're going to continue doing our influencer strategy, inviting people in, which will be a lot of people when Summit Canyon opens. We're going to have media and influencers there to help kind of drum up interest and get people, raise awareness that that new area is going to be opening. So it's very exciting from a marketing perspective. This is kind of our dream situation to have something so awesome to talk about. So what we have been doing to promote it thus far, we've had a lot of short form videos. I don't know if you guys are following, but you'll see we have animated videos going out. We've had different drone videos that we've edited to promote kind of the progress of the area so people can see how it's developing, what it looks like, getting excited. We will also have a full video and photo shoot once it's completed, and then we'll use those assets in our commercials moving forward for the summer. Kelly is going to be sending out themed media kits to invite people to that grand opening kind of ceremony. And they are themed with...
Yes, we have fun little camp mugs with the Summit Canyon logo to really drive home that outdoorsy Colorado theme. There's also some, s'more supplies in there, and then we'll have a postcard as well that outlines not just the opening date for Summit Canyon, but all of the other fun things happening at the water park this summer, so that the media can kind of have that on their calendar in advance and know when all the fun things to cover are.
And yeah,
I'll just keep
CTO.
going. We've also been invited to a summer media reception that's hosted by the Colorado Tourism Office. Only about 30 or so companies from around the state were invited to attend to that, so it'll be kind of a more intimate way for us to meet with different media outlets throughout the state and really get Summit Canyon kind of front and center. So we're hoping to drive a lot of media attention to the park through that. And then, again, once we kind of know more about the opening date, we're also looking at hosting a media weekend at Summit Canyon, which is a little more casual. It's really for the media to come and enjoy the park just as a member of the public, essentially, and really experience it for themselves so that they know what the park is and what we have to offer.
The CTO media reception is the most exciting to me because I feel like we've been trying for a couple years since I've been here and we finally got in, so I'm super excited to see what Kelly.
The Colorado Tourism Office.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit about the grand opening.
So again, we don't have a date yet, but we are planning some festivities. Again, we're hoping to have a lot of media presence there as well as some influencers as well, so both traditional and non-traditional media. I have some giant scissors in my office, so we're going to do a fun kind of ribbon cutting moment with the mascots and with our leadership. We've also ordered some towels. You can see a little mock-up there celebrating one of the new rides, Marmot and Mayhem. So we'll have that as kind of a fun giveaway for the first 300 people that come to experience Summit Canyon. They'll get a souvenir towel. And then we're also looking at hiring a photographer for that day just to really capture the moment. And we can share those photos on our website and with media and on social media as well.
Yeah, let's make sure we get greenery in place, not clay. Take the videos and so on.
Yep. Yeah, we'll make sure it's all looking beautiful. So with Summit Canyon, I'm not sure you're probably aware, one of the nice things about Summit Canyon is it allows us to host after-hours events, which is something we couldn't quite do before in the water park, especially with actual water attractions. So we're looking at 3 kind of new signature events that will be hosted in this area. Dates may be subject to change, but hopefully not. So for our residents, both of Hyland Hills District and the City of Westminster, we're going to be offering 3, we call them neighbor night outs. And those are exclusive for residents. They're $8.99 plus tax. And that's 2 hours from, I think, 6:30 to 8:30 just in the Summit Canyon area. So a really affordable way for residents to kind of have that area all to themselves. We're also going to try our first ever adult-only nights. We're calling those Sunset Swim to kind of indicate that it's more of a laid-back affair for adults 21 plus and not a party. So those will be on June 13th and July 25th. Those are Saturdays. And then we're also hosting 3 glow nights. Those are all ages, but we're kind of expecting more 13 and up since they are at night. And those, again, are kind of have one every month from June through August. And we'll have some fun glow cups, really fun lights, a lot of cool decorations. So in addition to those kind of new special events, we'll continue to do the special events at Waterworld that we have done for many years. So that includes our belly flop competition, which has been running for, I think, at least 30 years. This year it'll be at Thunder Bay since the previous location has changed with Summit Canyon. The date for that is pending, again, based on Summit Canyon. We're also hosting, or are a host location again for the world's largest swimming lesson. We've participated in that event for over 15 years now. And then we will, again, partner with Riverdale Animal Shelter on Bow Wow Beach Doggy Day after the park closes for the season, and that will be Saturday, September 12th. Okay, any questions on Waterworld? Okay.
I don't have any questions, but I do have a comment.
Sure.
So, thank you for all the work that you guys put into the activity guide and for also planning the Waterworld Wednesdays so that because we close the Splashland pool and that, amenity isn't available, now being able to bring people to this amenity, I appreciate that.
Thanks. So moving on from Waterworld special events to, oh yeah. Will there be a drone show this year? So not this year. We're going to really be focusing on the glow nights and the sunset swim and those new events. Yep. So moving into our community special events, just some that have kind of happened so far this year. We did have our Princess Ball again in February. We had about the same amount of attendance as we did last year, so about 66 kids and their parents. This year it was hosted at Cottonwood Lodge, which I think was a really good shift. Previously it was at the Hyland Hills Sports Center. We definitely need a bigger dance floor, but other than that, hosting it at Cottonwood was great. It saved us a lot of costs just in terms of decor, because they already have a great facility that just needed a little dressing up compared to a gym. And then each of the princesses that was registered for the event was offered a free kids meal at the Cottonwood Lodge, and we saw about half of the kids take advantage of that as well. So it also helped drive additional revenue for Cottonwood. We hosted our Easter extravaganza at Adventure Golf and Raceway just 2 weekends ago. We did see a 40% increase in attendance, I think partially because of the beautiful weather. So we had about 700 kids show up to that, a little more than we planned for, so we have some notes for next year. But overall, I think it went really well, and an event we look forward to improving upon and continuing to do. Yeah, it was a beautiful day, so I think that definitely helped, and we'll keep an eye on the weather in planning for the future. Yes, yeah. Thank you.
And the execution of the event went really well.
Thanks.
I
appreciate it.
Nice.
We do have a community yard sale scheduled for this Saturday. That might get rescheduled because it's looking a little cold. But we have a backup date of May 2nd. If that has to happen, we're going to make that decision tomorrow. But the good news of that is last year we had 15 people sign up to sell at the yard sale, and this year we have 30. So we've seen that double in terms of the interest in that event. So hopefully if we reschedule, those people will be able to make the rescheduled date. If not, we'll refund their seller fee. And we've put a lot more advertising behind that event as well, both with paid social and just yard signs around the neighborhood. So we're hoping that in addition to having more people selling at the event, we'll also see a lot more people coming to shop. And that's at Clear Creek Valley Park. Lastly, we just have the dates for the rest of the community events for the year. We have our summer concert series, which we've done for a few years now. You can see the dates up there, as well as our Halloween Trick-or-Treat Spooktacular at Adventure Golf and Raceway. And then new this year, we are going to be trying a spooky movie series. So those will be a movie in the park on Friday, October 2nd and Friday, October 16th. We're looking at Valley View Park. And it's a spooky movie, but it's family-friendly spooky movies. And so we're really excited to try that new event type for us. And that is also thanks to the Hyland Hills Foundation, who is helping sponsor not just that event, but all of our community events, but definitely kind of helps us get to try new things. So we appreciate that support.
What questions do you guys have for us? No? It is.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't have any questions. I just really like how you guys maximized the new Waterworld facility and the events that will be available at it in the summer guide. So that was impressive. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your time.
I want to make a comment. I received my Hyland Hills brochure today. I clicked on your website. I've never seen anything so spectacular. It was fabulous.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Good work, ladies.
Thank you.
I really suggest everyone look at it. That's what I heard about that music.
Thank you for that presentation. Moving on to our next item. I'm looking for a motion to approve the treasurer's, or to approve the treasurer's report.
I move that the Board of Directors of Highland Hills Park and Recreation District approve the February 2026 Treasurer's Report as presented.
Second.
Discussion?
Comments from Finance Director. Jill.
Thank you. So just to note, your revised version was just a combination of a couple lines, no financial changes, no number changes. Just a few things to point out. You'll notice that our restricted cash reduced, and that's due to us using lottery funds last year and the new carry forward number we got. And you'll also see that reduce quite a bit more next month because we did use some of our bond reserves for the defeasance for the new bond issue. So that will be coming up. You'll note that we have decreased tax revenue year over year. It's nothing to be concerned about. Our tax allocation for this year is about $400,000 higher than last year. So this is just a collections and distribution timing issue. And then also, Director Halden and I talked about, you'll see a lot of reduction in expenditures year over year. Don't get too excited about that. It's really just timing, and 2025 had some accruals and accounting adjustments that we didn't see this year. So everything's really on par and in line. We are seeing cost increases in payroll, insurance, all the normal inflationary areas. So nothing to be too concerned about there, but you will see enterprise revenues are up 18%, and that is just pure growth. No accounting changes there. Any questions?
No, thank you. Nice summary.
Thanks.
Any other questions from the board? All of those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion passes. We're moving to the minutes of the board meeting. I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes of the board meeting.
I move that the Board of Directors of Highland Hills Park and Recreation District approve the minutes of the board meeting of March 10th, 2026 as written.
Second?
You know, I only have one comment, and it's a correction. I think it goes to, if you go to the defeasance resolution, and it is, the way that it reads is, we can deem them legally to fees for our purposes. That should be, we can deem them legally defeased, not to fees. I think it probably, the recording, it just sounded like that.
We'll get that corrected for the final version, Margaret.
That's the only item that I had.
Then on page 1, at the very bottom, approval of the treasurer's report. Now, when we finalize the budget, the legal fees are an administrative expense, not a board of directors expense.
I don't understand. In the budget, in the 2026 budget, you're saying they were under administrative and not board of directors?
Yeah, because again, we don't dictate legal fees. Those are, an operating expense of the district. Staff engages legal expense.
If we go back to the treasurer's report, or maybe it's in the old treasurer's report, it had legal fees in there, because I noticed. It had board of directors, and what's embedded in there is legal fees.
Which is not really a director's expense.
So ultimately, just so you all know, all of those end up in the roll up to administration in the end. So board directors, communications, all of it rolls up into admin. So when you get your ACFR at the end of the year, that will be included in the administrative costs.
Okay.
So board of directors is a subsection of administrative.
Exactly.
Legal fees is a subsection of
Yeah, I think we put it this year in the budget no, we didn't, okay. It's still under admin, okay. It's under board of directors subset. Yeah, there's going to be a substantial amount of cleanup in the budget for next year. So thank you for that.
All of those in favor of,
Margaret, are we going to discuss it?
oh, yeah, I thought we were discussing it.
Or we went back to the budget? Mike's question was about the budget, not the study session?
No, his
He referred to the
question was
minutes.
about
Okay.
the minutes
Gotcha.
and the legal fees in there. So we're still talking about the minutes of the Board of Directors. And is there any other discussion with regard to the minutes of the board meeting? Okay, so, is everyone in favor of having the minutes approved as is, except for the correction of defeased?
Yes.
Yeah? Everyone who is, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Motion passes. Okay. Moving on to number 9, communication and correspondence to the board. There is a packet of all of the communication and correspondence that was sent to the board and to the district staff in our packets. I don't know that, I think we've all been made aware of that and can move forward. Any other comments or questions?
No.
The next item is the executive director update. Yvonne, would you like to provide us an update?
Certainly, thank you, Madam Chair. So you all have my written report in your packet. The most important, well, not the most important thing, we have a lot of things going on in the district, as you can imagine, just heard Kelly and Jenny talk about. We did successfully sell our bonds, as Margaret stated, so very well received by the market, ended up in an oversubscription, and we improved our overall interest rate for those, so excited about that. As a reminder, we borrowed actually less than $18 million to get us a $20 million project fund. Those were floated out on a 15-year term rather than a 20-year term, which again will save the district overall in interest saving or interest expense over the term. So very excited about that. We haven't closed on that yet. We will close on that next week, I believe, 21st. So we had some signature pages that we needed to get signed. I think we got those signed tonight. So everything is moving forward on that very well. But again, very grateful to Jill, to Mike, to Margaret, the finance team, to make this thing come together. I thoroughly enjoyed being able to go and sit and watch what was happening with the bond sales, and very impressed with how well those were received in the market. Otherwise, we have lots of projects going on that are still, excuse me.
Just one comment again.
Sure.
Someone had made in the audience a comment about 90 million. No,
Yeah.
There isn't $90 million of debt that were issued.
Correct. So the $90 million refers to the authorization by the taxpayers to issue up to $90 million in debt over the next 20 years. This $20 million debt, which is actually less than 2018 point, I can't remember what the number is, goes against that 90 million, but we are not incurring $90 million of debt and may not even over the next 20 years.
Yes.
Yes, thank you for pointing
So thank
that
you,
out,
yes.
because that was not an accurate comment.
Correct. So otherwise, we've, again, got lots going on. There's lots of projects underway. The board just toured the Waterworld site project. Hopefully, you're all pleased with how that's coming along. It's going to be an amazing project when it's complete. We've been very fortunate, knock on wood, with the weather that we've had, and we hope that will continue and enable us to bring that project in on time. We're fighting every day. Bob and Steve are fighting every day. I know when he comes in and his face is a little bit red, he's had to go around with the contractors on it, but I really appreciate all the work that our team is putting into that. We obviously are open Adventure Golf and Raceway now. They had the Easter extravaganza there, and full on into actually pretty well hired for Waterworld. So again, we hire 1,000 kids, most of them under the age of 18, to operate this park for the 90 days that it's open. So everybody, I believe almost everybody's hired. We're going to start onboarding them with paperwork this weekend. Again, our HR staff comes in. They work on Saturdays and Sundays to get these kids onboarded. What we do here, particularly what we do here in the summer, requires a tremendous amount of staff effort, and I really appreciate what our staff does every single day that they're here. It's a lot of balls in the air that we're juggling to meet everybody's expectations, so I thank you to all of them for that.
I noticed that, again, at Venture Golf, as you drive down Sheridan, you can see the refurbished Dragon clearly from the
Ace.
road until the landscape, fills it in, but it looks great.
Yeah, we had a nice report at our leadership meeting this morning from Ellen, who's the manager at Adventure Golf, just commenting about how the improvements since we brought on our replacement horticulturist, Sandra, the improvements that she's seeing just in the overall landscaping of Adventure Golf. So if you guys get a moment, I mean, it's a good time to go now. If you wait another month or two when everything is matured and in bloom, I think you'll be very pleased with how Adventure Golf looks this year. And beyond that, we did submit another set of 3 grants to Adams County Open Space, so that went in, and again, a great team effort. I wish Jenny and Kelly were still here because they do a lot of work on what that presentation looks like. But we did submit grants that we have worked with the Capital Projects Committee on. We are asking for funding to convert the ball fields at Carol Butts Park to artificial turf. I think our timing couldn't be better with what's going on with the drought situation, that we are moving towards converting these regular grass to artificial turf. We've asked for money to help us improve the concession stands at all of our ball fields. Those haven't been touched for many, many years and need to be upgraded. And then help for the shelter for the park, Belroth Park, which is right across the street, to put that near the playground, because again, from our strategic plan, that's important to the community, is to have shade structures in place for them while they enjoy our amenities. With the Carol Butts grant, we are also going to want to replace the playground that sits in between the sports center and the swimming pool there. So lots, fingers crossed on those. Again, we've been very, very successful, but I think part of that is due to the great team effort that we have here putting together those requests. We hope that we'll get those again, but we'll find out in the coming weeks or so. So beyond that, we are just very excited to be heading back into summer again. We laugh every year when people say, well, what do you do the rest of the year? And it's like, no, we are busy all year long. We're just busier in the summer. So excited about what the summer holds for us, nervous about the drought situation, and are already working on executing drought plans throughout the district to be very, very responsible with that resource. And beyond that, I'm happy to answer any of the questions you may have.
Any questions from the board?
No, just again, Yvonne, again, maybe I'll just do it now too. Hey, just again, a lot of feedback from the community on working with the golf leagues. Just our request is that, you, Allison, Alan, work with the leagues to address their concerns, come up with good resolutions that works for both sides, and so on. And I have faith that everyone will work together in a partnership to address these issues.
Yeah, that certainly is our goal, Mike. I thought that we'd had a couple of productive meetings, but maybe I misread the room. But absolutely, it's not a one-sided agreement. It's not a one-sided position. It's a two-way street, and we do want to work with the clubs, which is why actually we brought the clubs in specifically. Not all of the leagues, but our long-standing clubs at the golf course to work through this situation. So we'll keep working on it.
Yeah, but and at the study session, provide an update on
absolutely
how things are going.
Be happy to.
And I agree with that. And it's important to me and probably the rest of the board that all of the clubs are treated equally. And so I don't know how many clubs we have, but apparently we have a lot, which might explain why we can't get some tee times if you're not in a club. But if you could make sure that it's equal in treatment across.
Margaret, I don't know what that means. I don't know that you treat them equally when they're all very different. We can treat them similarly, but not the same. So what does equal actually mean? It's a different meaning for a lot of different people, but equal is not always equitable.
So what it means to me is if there's an event fee for one club, then there should be an event fee for all clubs, or get rid of the event fee for all the clubs. That's what I mean by equal. That there's equal treatment amongst all the contracts, all the expectations, and it's fair. That's what it means. to me.
So
Well,
I think
and
this,
that's
this,
something that
this conversation is really appropriate for the next study
Yep,
session, so I
okay.
think that that's the
Yeah.
time for us
Correct.
to
I
really
think
dig
it has
into
to go to
this.
the next study session, and there's a
Thank you.
lot of different ideas and thoughts about that. But if we're going to rebuild our reputation, which I think we've lost, we need to do a good job with the golf leagues.
So reiterating what Mike said, and thank you. So moving to the next one is, I think we've already gone through the Water World dashboard. And we're moving to the legal report. Allison, do you want to provide us any summary on the legal report?
There is a legal report in your board packet.
Yes.
It was a busy month. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I thought the interesting item was the amusement rides and the devices program
Yeah.
manager.
Yes. Just making
That's-
some
I guess he must
introductions.
look like, what's the one downtown? The amusement park.
Elitch's.
Oh, Elitch.
Elitch's. That must be within his jurisdiction, and then he saw it on 9 News about Water World and stuff. It's like, oh, have I been missing something all along?
Is that how that went
The place has
down?
been here for 45 years?
Yep, it was a good call.
Yeah.
Excellent. Any other comments, questions? Moving to the next item of business is, we have old business, and the next item on the agenda is the golf course tee time reservation and no-show policy. There's and I'm looking for an approval of the a motion to approve the golf course tee time reservation and no-show policy.
I move that the Board of Directors of Highland Hills Park and Recreation District approve the resolution to adopt the golf course tee time reservation and no-show policy effective April 14th, 2026, and direct staff to implement the changes with a target date of May 1st, 2026.
Discussion?
So this part, there doesn't seem to be any discrepancy about, correct?
You mean this policy?
Yeah, about the no-show.
I even heard support during public
Everybody's
comments.
okay with that?
Yeah.
I have some questions about it.
Oh.
I've mentioned this before, I still think it's true. I think this is a solution looking for a problem. I have never seen any financial projections about what this does. I also mentioned that we are in the experience business, and I don't see how this increases the guest experience. I know that Walnut Creek and Legacy Ridge have a policy, but they also have a 2-hour notice, not a 24-hour notice. The other question that I have, and they're not so onerous, and how do you then say, you know, I pulled my back this morning when I woke up. They don't have to fill out forms and send it in and wait another week. They get their credit card charged. A question I have, and maybe this is for Allison, is if we charge somebody's credit card for cash and they pay cash, but we only, if we decide that we're going to give them money back, we don't refund their credit card, we give them a golf punch pass, or we give them a credit to their account. I don't know how legal that is. If I set my appointment, my tee times, and I miss it, and I get charged for 4 tee times, and then I get sent out of town, or I can't come back, or I'm from out of town to start with, but I only get credit on my account, I don't get credit back on my credit card. I don't know how legal that is.
The district sets the terms for cancellation and refunds. So you're within your rights to do that if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I don't. I think that if there's somebody that is from out of state or out of town, and they miss a tee time and they get their card charged and they can't ever come back again, or that year they can't come back, and I I think you just give them their money back. If you charge them cash, you give them the cash back.
I think that defeats the purpose of the policy.
Well, again, apply common sense here. Staff will use good judgment on what's appropriate for the individual circumstance. You just can't write a policy covering every single, instance that can take place. Let's please allow staff to use good judgment in implementing this policy to ensure that it's fair to everyone.
Well, and this policy, the way it's written, though, doesn't give staff the opportunity to give cash back on their credit card. It says they have to use it as greens fees. That's pretty black and white.
Yeah, to Mike's point, Mike, I mean, this is how we do business, right? The policy is there so that we can enforce it when we need to enforce it. If there are extraordinary circumstances, I like to encourage the staff, let's worry about what's going to happen 95% of the time, and we will deal with what happens 5% of the time, and that's exactly how we will approach this issue.
We've also never seen a financial projection about how much this is actually going to net us. Alan at the last meeting said, this isn't a big money winner. So it does create a less experience for the guest, in my opinion. I don't think, like I said, I think it's a solution looking for a problem.
Any other comments from the board?
I mean, I know that wherever I play, I do have to put a credit card down, and if I fail to show, I get charged when I do play other places. I think it's been a privilege to play at Highland Hills, and they have been kind to not charge, or, it's not like the other golf courses, but I think sometimes the fault of a few has cost the rest of us what we've known that, you give grace on, but it's just been a few, and I think that now a policy needs to be in place because staff has recognized a problem.
I don't agree that there's been a recognized problem, or there's been any financial projection about how this is fixing it. I haven't seen any data on that. I haven't seen any financial projection about this is going to net us 5,000 more a year, 10,000 more a year, 15,000 more a year. But from what the policy is now to what the policy will be, what is the benefit? Once again, Mike, it goes back to that cost benefit and the guest experience. Are we going to do this? And I agree with Lori. There are times I put my credit card down, but there's also times when I call them, or 2 hours in advance I go in, and they say, thank you, Mr. Blair, we'll be happy to take that off. I don't have to fill out a form on the website to ask for my money back.
I might interject that this is not a financial discussion for us. This is a providing access to the golf course discussion for us. And unused tee time, reserved and unused tee times block access for the golfers that want to use the golf course.
Right, I was under the impression that there were people making multiple tee times and then showing up to whichever one was the most convenient, and then that time is no longer available.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to correct, is that tee times are not blocked and then not used.
I think we're trying to change behavior, not increase revenue.
Well, and I think the data, we don't have the data on that. If we have people that are blocking tee times, why aren't we talking and working with them? Instead of one solution fits everybody, why don't we talk to the people? The pro shop knows who's doing it. Why aren't we addressing it with those people instead of creating a burden for everyone?
I think we can agree to disagree, and we'll take a vote. So all of those in favor of and we'll do a roll call vote. All of those in favor of approving the motion to approve the new golf course tee time reservation and no-show policy. Can you take a roll call?
Yes. Mr. Blair?
No.
Mrs. Grosh?
Aye.
Mrs. Gutierrez?
Yes.
Mr. Hald?
Yes.
Mrs. Morales?
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on to the next item of business is, I'm looking for a motion for the Executive Director's Employment Contract Amendment.
I move that the Board of Directors of Highland Hills Park and Recreation District approve the amendment to the Executive Director's employment contract as written, effective April 14th, 2026.
Second.
I'd like to hear comments from Mike and Lori about the review and how we got to this, if you could provide us. And your thoughts on it.
Well, again, if you look at the summary,
Yeah.
the changes again, a number of things are being corrected that were historical practice, they just weren't practical.
Okay.
One is giving 2 years.
Yeah,
notice.
that's insane.
Okay, so again, and it's very generous to give 6 months' notice to begin with, which, any executive that would be doing that, most companies would be very appreciative and so on, to have good succession planning and so on. And then again, there were some previous changes to vacation policies and so on. And the executive director was kind of lumped in with the general policy for all employees. And again, given the extended work hours, evenings, being on call 24 hours a day, it just seemed reasonable to provide some additional time off if she can fit it in her schedule. I mean, it's administrative hours. It doesn't vest. It's just there if she can take it and the district is still running well and so on, so.
And I was on the previous committee when we originally kind of rewrote it, and it just wasn't, it was not good, and with the thanks of Mike and the succession committee, we all collaborated, and we got it up to date, just like everything else that we've been working on, bylaws, amendments, everything. We got the employment description, and I think it's up to date and it fits for anything, and her successor, it's more, it's going to be good for anybody who comes into that position.
Thank you. Any other comments from the board?
Yeah, my concern is just 6 months. If we're going to do a national search, I don't know if that's long enough time. So I think we'd have to be prepared to have an interim appointed if we're able to get everything together and get all the community input, the staff input, have everything in place and ready to go, and then establish candidates to come in and be interviewed. I think 6 months is really tight. And I think when you look at a superintendent search of schools, it's well over 6 months. It's closer to 9 months to a year. I don't have any issue with the vacation time, but I would like to recommend that we make that a minimum of 9 months. I'd prefer 12, but 9 I would, so.
But again, balance this out. Again, that's to give us notice. Heaven forbid Yvonne were to have a medical event that would incapacitate her as far as her responsibilities as executive director. We would have to then put in place someone on a temporary basis while we went through the process to find the new lead. So this is not on Yvonne to give more than 6 months' notice. It's the responsibility of the board of directors to have a contingency plan in place in the event she becomes incapacitated and cannot serve in the role. So it's...
Mike, I see those as two different things. We need to have a succession plan, so if there were incapacitation, then we'd have to get an interim right away. That's different than asking for your current director to give 6 months' notice. I see those as two separate issues. And so I'm suggesting that we look at 9 months. I don't think that impacts Yvonne or any executive director that would come in to give 9 months' notice instead of just 6. I think it gives us more time. I mean, look how long it's taken us to get things together. since we started this in November, it's already been 6 months, and we're not anywhere near ready to do things. We still haven't set goals for Yvonne for her contract. That was supposed to be done 3 months ago, and it's been 3 months.
I believe that the goals are set for this
That's
year
what I
and was part of the
thought.
evaluation.
Yeah.
We also, I might just add, in with the committee work that we've been working on, the committee has put together a very nice plan for succession, for incapacitation issues, for, anticipating anything that may happen to me. So I just want to say that it's not, a lot of work has been done by the committee, and it's, if we haven't provided it to the rest of the board yet, we will make sure that you guys get that at the next study session. But I think that I'm very comfortable. I think that Mike and Lori are very comfortable, as well as Lisa, our HR director. So I
would like, how did you guys come to 6 months?
6 months is my request.
And six, do we know?
And with the committee, we felt like 6 months fits perfectly fine with the plan that we put into place.
Do we know, like, how long it took to fill the directorships at, like, wasn't it South Suburban? What was the last one?
Allison, do you know the South Suburban one? Since you're part of that team down there too? How long it took them to get a new director in place? Because they did it in stages, right? They looked for an interim director before they looked for the permanent director.
6 to 7 months. They brought an interim.
So they didn't have 6 months as a lead, so they had, the director left, and then they had an interim, and then they took 6 months. And so, 6 to 7 months.
Yvonne, I missed what you said about the goals.
They were part of the evaluation process.
I agree, they were there, they were listed. But at the end of that meeting, which we ended real quickly, I said, we need to have a further conversation about the goals. Because I have a couple more goals I'd like to, at least the board, to talk about that should be considered. And I think to not listen to one of the fellow directors and just say, here's my goals and that's it, without having a conversation, is not transparent, and it's not honoring of our work, and it doesn't possibly give you the best evaluation you can. I think we all should be able to talk and give input on what we think goals should be.
So
And we haven't had that opportunity yet.
I think we digress from this discussion, so we're going to put that goal-setting discussion in the parking lot. So let's put that in the parking lot and come back to this issue of this changes to this employment contract. And so,
So Margaret, I'm happy with that, but I need it to come back, because that's what you said that the last time I said we need to wrap up these goals. You said, okay, we will get to that. I've been waiting for 3 months now to get back to that. So I'm okay putting it in the parking lot, but I do expect you to continue to push that issue.
well, so first of all, then the question is, does anyone else on the board have the same viewpoint as you? Because we work on a consensus. And if we all think that the goals have been set, then let's focus on this, yeah, so. So let's have, is there any more discussion regarding the executive director's employment contract amendment? Okay. Then I think we should do a roll call vote, Nicole. And so all of the, if you could do a roll call vote for in favor.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mrs. Grosh?
Yes.
Mrs. Gutierrez?
Yes.
Mr. Hald?
Yes.
Mrs. Morales?
Yes.
Got it. Moving to the next item is, I'm looking for a motion to schedule a public hearing for the discussion to the proposed district initiative plan, property initiative plan. Property protection plan. Yeah, and this is, well, protection.
I move that the Board of Directors of Highland Hills Park and Recreation District schedule public hearings on Tuesday, May 12th, 2026, and Tuesday, June 9th, 2026 at 6 p.m. at the Highland Hills Administration Building located at 8801 Pecos Street, Federal Heights, Colorado, to discuss the proposed district property public plan, right?
Protection
Protection
plan.
plan, sorry.
Second.
Any questions? Discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Hearing no nays, the motion passes. Now, we're moving on to the Board of Directors Committee's discussion.
Should we put this one under new business?
Yes, yeah, so, okay. So we have item C on new business that's been added, and it's the schedule of a Board of Directors study session. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the schedule of Board of Directors study session.
I move that the Board of Directors of Highland Hills Park and Recreation District schedule a study session for Tuesday, April 28th, 2026 at 5 p.m. at the Cottonwood Lodge located at 9650 Sheridan Boulevard, Westminster, Colorado.
I second.
Any discussion?
Margaret, this is the one that flipped up in my paperwork that I didn't inadvertently asked about. I'd like to know what our topics are for this meeting. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. What are we going to discuss?
It's my understanding that we're going to discuss the contracts with the golf clubs, and any other.
An update from Yvonne.
Yeah, and get an update from Yvonne and staff on that topic.
Will there be any time to discuss the goals, the executive director's goal setting?
Well, we can,
Since we don't have we don't have a conflict at the end, we can have a rather long study session.
that's
make
what I
sure
was
we get
gonna,
caught up
yeah,
with everything.
yeah. Anything that we need to discuss where there's not a time limit. If goals are part of that, then yes, we can add that, so goals for Yvonne, or clarify where we're at on goals with Yvonne and level set, so that we're all on the same page with the same expectation. What other items would be on that study session? That's the two that I'm aware of. Any other items or contributions from the board?
No.
Okay, having that. Everyone in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. Now moving on to the Board of Directors Committee update. The Bylaws and Policies Committee.
We have nothing to report at this meeting.
The Capital Projects Committee.
Mike, you didn't get that one. Did you attend that one?
I was out of town.
Yeah. He was kind of in the car driving.
Oh, yeah, okay, I was driving.
So, Mike, I have it.
Miles an hour.
Just give me a second and I'll look for it. If you want to go to a different committee report, I have the notes here. I just have mixed them up in all my papers.
Okay, so then a Finance Committee update. We had a successful bond.
Yeah.
We had a succession.
The audit's in progress.
Mm-hmm.
It's going much smoother than last year. And then, of course, the successful bond offering, so.
That's what's happened. And then a lease committee update?
Nothing.
Nothing to update. And then a management succession.
Right, and also, at our last meeting, when we updated the job description, we also moving forward, that is going to be our temporary last meeting until we need it. So we're not going to be meeting again.
Could you bring the job description, the new job description and the changes to the report? I don't know that.
We have, we probably miscommunicated, but we had asked Lisa to kind of put everything together in summarized form for the board, which we might maybe drop the ball on that one. So we will put that all together, which will include the new job description, the evaluation process, the recruitment process, the emergency process, all of the things that we have been working on, we'll put together in one nice neat packet and bring it to the board. We'll try to do it by that study session, if not by the next board meeting.
Okay, so then adding to that, is goals for Yvonne, job description, and what are the other thing that you said, Yvonne?
It's just a summary of the work.
Summary of the work
of
of the
the
management.
succession planning committee.
Yeah. Okay,
I found it.
excellent, your timing is good.
Yvonne, just a reminder again about the capital committee invite.
Yes.
Okay, Warren, would you like to give us an update on the capital projects committee?
Yeah, this is kind of real quick. Clear Creek Valley Bike Park, we're getting ready to bid. The opinion for cost is coming. Carol Butts Phase 1, we're looking at resurfacing, but I believe that that's already been done on the pickleball courts. Berkeley Hills Park has an algae bloom now. May need another aerator. The treatments don't work very well at different times. Kamenish, MIG is working on plans. Everything's looking good so far to select a Phase 1. The golf driving range project is in a construction proposal. The bridge project might be done in the fall. Calypso Cove, Learn to Swim Pool, you guys all saw that today. Commissioners Park is Adams County, still needs approval, and then get out some bids. Rotary Park, we think it'll start on April 6th. This is probably already started. Contractor for water retention. Fitness Center Sports Design, no update. Mini grants, you know we're going on for that. That's with our goats. Clear Lake Playground, that we're working on concepts, getting closer and closer. Agar, the building and restrooms, there were some issues with fire pieces that's being worked on. And then you saw the spring grant application stuff.
Thank you. Any questions?
Those are kind of hard because they're about 3 weeks behind.
Yeah, yes, yeah. It is the challenge of meeting once a month, right? Thank you for that. Okay, so the next item on our list is the Board of Directors open discussion, a Highland Hills Foundation update.
We met last month, and we have a new member, Mary Littweiler's friend. Yeah, I know. I'm drawing a blank. But he's happy to be on our foundation and help out. We're also, cornhole went well, and I guess our next is the golf tournament, and then coming up on Winterfest.
And Ellen, you're the chair for the golf tournament, right? How's that coming along?
Yes, I am. And so at the last foundation meeting, we did send around a sign-up sheet for folks to be on the different committees for the different events. And so we've filled that out for the golf committee. So we'll be meeting very soon to just go over event details, things like that. In the meantime, on the golf side specifically, we're making sure that the online portal for registration and payment is where it's supposed to be, so that we can, all the marketing materials can direct folks for payment, that kind of thing.
Excellent.
So Alan, I get a lot of questions about the foundation tournament, and I don't know what's the cost, or I know the date, I can tell them the date, but I don't know where to point them to for the brochure, registration, or the cost per player or per team.
Yeah, well, thank you for that, Warren. We appreciate the continued support on that. Nicole has that information. I think we just didn't want to push it out until there was a way to pay. But yeah, let's, I think we can try and get that out so that the information piece is there, so.
Can you tell us what it is?
I don't have that flyer in front of me, Warren.
I can
It was
tell you.
what was agreed upon in the fall meeting. Those
The,
numbers, so there were no changes as I'm aware of.
the team sponsorship was going to stay the same at $1,000, the foursome, I can't remember what it's called. Just the normal corporate sponsorship will stay at $1,000, but we are increasing the individual fee from $175 to $200.
Thank you.
And then Westminster Rotary Club updates. I'm not aware of any updates. Warren, are you? There's nothing to update from the Rotary Club?
No.
Yep.
Warren, I might also add, if you have people that want information about the golf tournament, could you just send them to Nicole's email, have them email Nicole, and she'd be happy to send that out to them.
Yeah, sure. They often, obviously, since I ran the tournament for 6 years, they say, what's going on? What's happening? So it'd be nice to just know and be able to answer their questions so that I can represent the district in a positive manner.
Okay, so we are at number 16, board meeting action recap. And I have not been keeping track, so I don't know what the items are. So I need the board's help to know what those are.
I think a number of items have been added to the agenda for the study session.
So study session agenda items, we have that. What others?
Getting out Yvonne's, the newly job description and with everything else that we worked on.
Executive director updated job description to the board.
Yeah.
And I think that falls under the study session agenda, right? Okay.
So, Margaret, I just want to ask, is there any main reason why we're doing a study session and not just a special board meeting? So that we can still have board comments and people come in and participate, and they know that they can participate. I want to be as transparent as possible, and I think sometimes if we just say it's a study session, people don't think they can attend.
Well, I think that they should know that they can attend, absolutely. The reason for the study session is it's to provide information to the board, and we won't be taking any board policies. If from the study session we need to have a special board meeting, then that's what we would schedule. But for right now, it's the study session is to inform the board of all the actions that have been taken with regard to the golf leagues and the contracts.
Yeah, I understand that. We can say the general public should understand the difference between a study session and a board meeting, but they don't. And so for us to be transparent and build goodwill and rapport, I would recommend it just be a regular board meeting, but if everybody wants to just keep it as a study session, that's fine. But how do we communicate that out to our public that people are welcome to attend?
The study session will be listed on our website, as all of them are. I feel like everybody got a pretty good idea that they could come to the study session from
Whoever told them
this evening's
today.
attendance. So, but yeah, I mean, certainly if you have questions from the community, study sessions are always open to the public. It's just not a time for the public to interact with the board. It's time for the staff to interact with the board.
And we will, as a board, in the effort to be transparent, is if there's board actions that are required from the study session, then we can schedule a special meeting for sure.
So just to be clear, we will not be asking for league contracts to be signed by the 13th? I mean, that seems like a decision that's been made. If we're going to do a study session on it, then we need to kind of back that whole process off so that we can move forward in a manner that helps build consensus making and understanding and transparency. So someone should probably communicate to the leagues that we're going to have a study session about this, that there's no need to fill out the contract by this date. We're going to continue to have conversations about it, because right now you saw all the people that are upset that they think this is being done already. And can we just clarify for them that we're going to make this a longer process with more input and at least alleviate some of their concerns at this moment?
Well, I think Yvonne said that.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to address that. So as I think Pam mentioned, our first meeting with them in regard to the contract was March 13th. So it's been in their hands for a month. We did ask for comments back. We didn't say this is the contract, sign it or go away. We said this is the contract. We want you guys to take it and read it, and we would ask for everybody to give us feedback. We gave a date of April 3rd because we're trying to move the process along. We heard back, I think, from 2 of them. I don't know that we heard back from anybody by April 3rd. We have some clubs out there that still haven't responded with any kind of comments. I think there's confusion. I think that our goal was to have consensus so that we could start executing the contracts tomorrow, which was the day after tonight's meeting. Clearly, that's not going to happen. We never said this is the deadline. If you saw something that said that, Warren, I would love for you to forward that to me, because I do not believe that that is correct.
I'll forward it to you. It's from Val to the league presidents.
It's not in the, I thought somebody said it was in the agreement. It's not in the agreement.
It was an email to Val, from Val to the league presidents, and it's in the contract as well. So.
Well, if you can send that to me, that would be fantastic.
You have a copy of the contracts, right?
Yeah, I do. I just looked at it. It's not in there. So at any rate, like Mike said, when things are not, we have goals and we try to set deadlines. If we're not going to meet them and we have to do additional work on that, we will do additional work on that to get this to where we need it to be. So to answer your question, we will send an email out to the club presidents tomorrow. Again, we have not heard back from some of them. We wanted to try to get this wrapped up because, like we said, there are other leagues, there are afternoon leagues out there that we want to utilize the same contract as well. So we were trying to get it in the hands of the highest volume users, which is our clubs, for their comments, any kind of adjustments. And I do want to point out that we already made some concessions to the clubs, starting with the reservation, the tournament fees, like the men's club play, to try to make things equal across the board. We were trying to do that for 2026. We heard their concerns and their comments and that they've already set their fees. And so we said, okay, we'll take that off the table. We are very willing to negotiate meaningful changes to the agreements. So I just want the board to hear that tonight. I did not walk away from any of our meetings feeling that they had been contentious. They were contentious on the early end. They kind of gave it to us, their opinions, but by the time we got to the end of the meeting, I thought everybody very well understood what was happening and was, understanding what we were trying to get to. The presentation we presented to the groups was the same presentation that you all saw at the last board meeting. So I just want to make sure that you're hearing from my perspective how that went. And Alan, I don't know if you share that perspective or if you had anything to add.
Yeah, we really wanted to understand, like I think, Warren, you pointed out earlier that not all clubs do act the same, but we are trying to find some equity and some equalization in just how we treat advanced bookings. That's really what we're kind of talking about here. So we wanted to know what was important to them. We wanted to open up how they use their credit money. So maybe a club acts a little more social, one's a little more competitive, and they have different kind of focuses.
You guys, I'm going to just interrupt right now because it's getting late and we have executive session and we're moving into study session. So I think we've answered Warren's question that you're going to get back to the golf leagues and say that they don't have to sign the contract tomorrow, that's still going, and you can report back to us in 2 weeks how that is performing. I do think that it's important that there's a deadline in place so that changes are made. Otherwise, a tactic of not having any changes is not setting a deadline, is not doing that. So I think setting that so we can get, as a board, some good information from back and feedback from you guys in a reasonable time frame. I would like.
And Margaret, I would say a deadline's less important than having everybody understand and have input into a decision and leaving that decision, whether it's April, May, June, July, that they all understand and feel heard and respected and cared about as members of our league, rather than just saying, here's your deadline, meet it. I think we need to back up and do a whole process and let them come in and talk. I don't know anybody has talked to the senior league and said, have asked them, what ideas do you have? Or the ladies league, what ideas do you have? It's all been said, this is what you should do. I think they have some good ideas. I think the senior league, and I can't speak for them, but I think they'd move to Tuesdays and combine with the ladies senior league and open up Mondays for Allen. I think that's a good idea. But until we have that process where they feel listened to and respected, they're going to leave those meetings feeling disrespected and it being a disingenuous process. I would rather slow down, not worry about deadlines, get some meetings together, go through the contract, look at the changes, listen to them, and have them buy into whatever decision we make. They're not against making more money. They want to just be treated well and respectfully. And just saying there's a deadline doesn't do that.
Didn't, they all had an opportunity to come and meet, which, from what I understand, we're only a few groups. But I think we do need to move on because it is late and we are going to be having the study session, so this.
We have a study session that'll start at 5 and we can talk for another 3 hours about kind of the ideas, feeling heard. All of this is very valid and I think it deserves its own special meeting and that's what we're looking for.
And nothing's happening before that.
Excellent. Okay. So, board meeting action recap is we're going to have a study session. Okay. Now I'm looking for a motion to move into executive session.
I move that the Board of Directors of Highland Hills Park and Recreation District meet in executive session pursuant to Section 24-6-4024B CRS for the purpose of a conference with the district's legal counsel regarding specific legal questions pertaining to lease of water shares.
Okay, now we can move into executive session. I have no idea where that is going to happen. Okay.
Does anyone need a comfort break?
Yes, 5-minute comfort break. So we will resume at 8:15.
Did we all vote on that?
Oh, yeah, we have to vote on that. Everyone in favor of that? Everyone in favor of it, say aye. Aye.
I just want
Moving.
that to be in the record.
Yes, thank you for that, Warren.
Nicole, or let me know when video and everything's off.